Welcome, folks, to Art of the City. We're so happy to have you folks here. We've devoted this entire month to Native American art in honor of Indian Market, which has, for the very first time since 1922, been canceled because of COVID. And it's giving us really kind of an opportunity to reflect on all the important artists that come out to display their artwork during this 1 week of celebration for Native American culture. But it's also given us an opportunity to bring these artists to you live. So that's what we're doing here at Art of the City. I'm really grateful to SWAIA for promoting this. They are the ones that are behind Indian Market every year, and they do such a terrific job. I would personally be there right now if we didn't have lockdown. I'm an art dealer, almost 30 years in the business, and it's one of those places that I go to look for great artists. And I've discovered some amazing artists. I've been able to place artwork in a lot of the big hotel and casino jobs that I've been involved with as a Native American art dealer. So today is really something special because one of the artists that have really been an anchor at Indian Market is this artist I'm bringing on here shortly, Raymond Nordwall. And I had an opportunity to go into Raymond's studio about right around Thanksgiving of last year and do an in-depth interview with him. And he's incredibly fascinating, such a great human being, gives back to the community and has been a staple there in Santa Fe for, I believe, 25 years. He's had a gallery there. So we're going to bring him on. One of the things I would love to ask you to do, if you have a moment, is just go ahead and follow us on Facebook so that you don't miss out on these great talents that are coming on. We are going to have Native American culinary artists, actors, we have musicians. So it's not just the visual arts. We're going to have a whole plethora of incredible Native American talent coming on live here. So let me see if I can get Raymond to come on to the show today. You're going to love this. Great guy and absolutely incredible art. So let's see if we can get him to come in on our stream here. Hi there, Raymond. Welcome to Art of the City. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Ruth-Ann?
I'm doing great. It's a little warm here in San Diego, and I hear it's been pretty warm where you're at in Santa Fe.
Yeah, the rains are starting, so it's cooled off. It cools off at night, so it's wonderful.
Yeah, when I was there, it was snowing. So it was, I didn't even know that it snowed in Santa Fe. So it was a first for me.
Over 7,000 feet,
That's right. I forget that because you just feel like you're in this incredible desert space when you come to Santa Fe in the middle of the summer. So what tell the folks here, I know you have had your gallery there on Canyon Road for, is it 25 years?
No, for 21 years, actually.
21 years, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a full-time artist in Santa Fe for over 30 years. Right after I graduated from IIA, the Institute of American Indian Arts, I became a full-time artist. And I used to show my work all over the country, but then we opened up our own, 21 years ago.
I love your gallery. It's in a great location too. It's just such a historic, that whole area is just so many great galleries. So share with us, I know, this must just be so interesting to be in Santa Fe, where Indian Market is such an important part of the commerce, but what you guys look forward to every year, what has it been like with it being just gone?
With what?
With Indian Market being closed.
It's, I don't know. I mean, I paint all day, every day. And so, I mean, I'm prolific. Like, even when we were shut down, I would still come in and paint. I couldn't open, but I painted. And so I'm always just painting anyway. But it has affected, I mean, I feel so bad for so many artists that rely just on Indian Market,
right.
And other shows like that, like The Herd or, the Idle Jork, that have all closed, Red Earth. And I feel really bad. I'm so happy that SWAIA has, taken this initiative to help out these artists and venture into new, technology that I'm not really that familiar with, but I have people like my son and people that help me. But our website has helped a lot. People are buying from the website, and we have to constantly update that.
Thank,
What has changed?
I mean, thank goodness for the collectors, right? And I'm hearing that all across the art world, that collectors are supporting the effort, which is really great. So what are you feeling? Because I know that you do have a lot of artist friends. You've been there for a really long time. You're very connected with all of, Indian Market. What are the spirits like of the people there right now?
I don't know. I guess it depends on who you talk to. I think it really helps with the artists that have a website and then like younger artists are doing stuff on the Facebook and Instagram and
Right.
those things, and that's totally new. I mean, it's changed a lot even before this pandemic because there are a lot more galleries that were selling native art, and now like younger artists it's harder for them to get into these galleries.
Sure.
There's fewer and fewer, and so and they're doing all these online stuff that's just not everybody needs a brick and mortar gallery anymore. They're doing more online, and it's changed everything.
But there's nothing like going into your gallery. You walk in, it's just you've got these different rooms. There's a smell in the air of your oil paint. I don't know how you replace that. Until we get really good at virtual reality, there's
Yeah.
nothing like walking in. So is your gallery open right now?
Yeah, it's open, but also I should say this, that everybody that have bought my work through my website has come through the gallery. They've seen my work in person, so it's easier to sell something online if they've seen it in person or know your work in person. And
Right.
so
No,
that's why I tell people, like even at Indian Market or booth shows or like when they have a gallery, to get people's email addresses, and then they can email photos to them. They can update them on their website or what they're doing, and it's such a huge tool now.
it is.
The web.
But even like this, learning how to use this took me a few minutes. So let's just share with the folks, those who don't know you. There's a lot of people I can see streaming in. Let's get a little bit of a backstory. Like, how did this all start? And I know you're Pawnee, and let's just share a little bit about how you became the artist that you are today.
Well, I always drew when I growing up, and I mean ever since I could remember. And then I was introduced to a Creek Seminole artist, Johnny Tiger, when I was like 12 or so, and because I really wanted to learn how to paint, and so I actually lived with this family for a while. Jerome Tiger's widow Peggy and their kids, and everybody painted. When an art show would come up, there was about 5 or 6 of us that would paint when an art show would come up, and it was very inspiring. And Johnny would teach us how to paint. He would work on our pieces a little bit. We'd get it to as good as we could do it, and then he'd touch it up a little bit, and that's how we learned how to paint. And then after that, then I went to Oklahoma State University and Bacone College and studied under other artists. And then my brother told me that I should go to IIA, the Institute of American Indian Arts. And so when I went there, it was like it was so comfortable. Everybody, there are people from all over. There are Inuits. There are people from Alaska. There are Penobscot from Maine. There are people from Florida and Navajos and Pueblos and Hopis. But everybody did their art, in their rooms. And going down the dorms was so inspiring. You could see people doing their clay work or their clothing, their sculpture, and it was just such a huge, incredible time for all of us, and then a lot of, probably 40-50% of us became full-time artists, shortly after.
That's
Some of them went
so
on to
cool.
school. And so that, I mean, it was
That's
such an
amazing.
important. It is, because a lot of times, when you go to art school, they tell you only 1% of artists are able to make a living. But
Did you find
no one
it
told me.
interesting? I know
What?
there's a little lag here. I didn't mean to step on you, but did you find it interesting? So here you are, you're a native person going to, regular public school, and then you go to university, but to be able to go to a school where you're bringing in indigenous artists from all over the country, and really probably, you're talking about going up into Alaska. I'm not sure where other folks were coming, First Nations, but to have that concentration of native people together that are all creative, that must have just been like a bomb went off with energy and creativity.
I know, and all of my friends are full-time artists now, which is unheard of. And so, no, it's very inspiring. And then after that, I studied with an artist named Frank Howell, um, who is very well known, and he taught me different techniques, monotypes, and collagraphs and stuff.
I love
and then I became
Frank's
a full-time
work.
artist, after that. So it really helped me to study with artists that were, I mean, almost all the teachers at II were, working artists too, but anyway, it was nice to be around, I worked at his gallery, so that helped a lot to learn the business part of art, you know.
Yeah, I think
And I
Frank
used to
was
show galleries all
probably
over the
one
country.
of my favorite artists as well, Frank Howell. And then I think when I met you, you said you had an opportunity to work with one of my cousins, Fritz Scholder, who I never had an
Oh
opportunity
yeah,
to meet because he passed away before I was
oh
able to meet him.
yeah. I was just viewing a documentary on him, and I mean, him and T.C. Cannon changed Indian art, and so I emulated those artists, and then I finally ventured off and tried to do my own style and different techniques and stuff.
So what was it like when you first started presenting your work and actually creating this art that then becomes a full-time career? Was it a struggle, or did you just come right out of the gates?
Well, I was working at Frank's gallery, and I would take me and several of my friends who are incredible artists would be like a gopher, take his artwork around different parts of the country, and I started becoming familiar with the art market in different cities and stuff, and started showing at galleries. And I remember it was right before Indian Market, and Frank asked me, how my career is going, and I said, well, I'm making 3 times more off my art than I am, working for you. And he was like a father figure to me, and so he said that maybe this is my time to leave, kind of kick me out of the nest a little bit, which was kind of harsh because we were so close, but it was my time to leave, and he was busy with other galleries that he opened and other publishing companies and stuff. But it was nice to have that support of him. He was always there to support me.
That's just incredible. So now I know you have a lot of different subject matter. Did you focus on things for Indian Market, not knowing whether it was going to happen or not? Did you actually create a
Um,
body of work for it?
no, I did a few pieces like this one and that one, but I actually, like, when the pandemic started, I didn't know if I was going to be able to buy paint, and so I started doing a whole series of just little bitty paintings, and I started painting more with like nature and stuff. And I've been doing that for. It's hard for me to. I get stuck in a series or something, and then I get. Then I. It's hard for me to focus on something else. Like, oh, I have to do the Indian Market stuff. I just paint all the time, and I'm very blessed that my wildlife paintings, my landscapes, and my native subject matter. So.
That's great. Well, let's take a look at those. I'm going to minimize my screen so then maybe we can get up a little bit close and you can share a little bit about each piece that you have been working on recently. Let me see if I can minimize. Oh, other way. Okay, we got it. Yeah, I can see it. It's beautiful. maybe if you can bring, I know your son's helping you with the camera there. Maybe if you can bring us so that we can see kind of the whole thing and you can share what we're looking at here. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so I just finished this one a couple days ago. It's called for the Sisters We Lost. It's about the Native and Indigenous women that have been, murdered and have disappeared. And so this is what this is what it represents.
Wow.
And so I wanted to do a Plains woman, and I don't know, it just kind of all came together. And so that's what this represents.
That is stunning.
So yeah, anyway. And then I said, go ahead. Anyway.
Oh, go ahead. We're getting a little delay, but go ahead. Please keep showing us.
And then I did a big traditional dancer, and it was actually, it's called With the Light Upon Him, but it's also a study of composition of circles. And so that's what my focus was when I was doing it, just all these circles and in a square format. And so that was my intention, but very dramatic. And, my paintings have changed in the last couple of years because a friend of mine gave me this, and it changed my painting style tremendously in the last 2 years, the way I paint. Anyway.
And is that, you're using that kind of as a palette knife then?
Yeah, I use it for a lot of it, yeah. This and a rag. I just moved, just putting it on, scraping it away, and because I love faces. I love painting faces, and so those tend to be more detailed, like my work used to be. But
right.
When my friend gave me this trowel, I was able to break up my subject a little bit more, and that's what I was trying to achieve for years. Like I do with another medium, my monotypes, which I use rollers, and so came together a lot. I've been trying to figure out a way for like 15, 20 years to break up my subject, and it works more than a palette knife. You can, anyway, I love it.
Well, it's interesting because when I was in your studio, one of the things I did notice is you had all these different tools that you were using. And I remember asking you, wow, is this the secret sauce? But then, I realized that it's not the tools, it's the artist that's using the tools that really makes the difference. So you're able to utilize so many cool things in ways that I've never seen another artist be able to execute like that.
Well, it helps with that. I've done a lot of different mediums. When Frank taught me how to do monotypes, a printmaking medium, that changed my painting a lot.
Right.
And so when I meet a young artist, I always tell them to try a lot of different mediums.
So on this, is this a fancy dancer that you painted here?
No, it's a traditional dancer.
Okay, traditional dancer. And so
this is a northern traditional dancer.
Okay, and you are Pawnee. Your family comes from Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah, my mom was Pawnee from Oklahoma. My dad was Ojibwe from Minnesota.
Okay, and are you pulling those, your native roots, are you pulling that into the paintings that you create?
Oh, very much so. Especially, it was such a blessing to grow up around powwows, because I know how these dancers dance and the way they move and everything. So that was my link to the native culture. And that's why I feel closest to my mom when I'm painting that subject, because she loved going to powwows, and all my family did, and they still do, and so I feel really close to her.
I love that. Can we see maybe another couple of your works that you've been working on?
Sure. Here's a Hopi girl that I did about a year ago or so. This is actually a mixed media piece, a monotype with pastel and pencil. Oh,
gorgeous!
Here's one of my little pandemic paintings of my. I like painting animals, so I paint.
Maybe give us a little bit of a close up of that one that you did. Get a little closer so we can see it. Okay, good.
Okay, here, and then over here. Okay. And so this is one that I did almost primarily with a palette knife. So I like going back and forth from realistic to more dramatic, more painterly, And so
Raymond,
that's
that's gorgeous. I love that horse. I mean, it feels like it's just galloping right out of the canvas.
yeah, it was fun to do. I love doing it. It's so much fun, and it's a lot of layering thing. I mean, I only do it for like maybe an hour, and I let it dry, and then I have to let it do another layer and let that dry. But it happens very
And
fast.
what do you think about when you're approaching the canvas? I mean, what are the emotions? Or do you have a preconceived idea? Or are you just going for it?
Sometimes I have a preconceived idea, but then it gets to a point where the painting almost paints itself. It'll tell you what it wants to be. Like I'll have a idea that I'm going to do a different background, and I'll struggle with it. You just have to let it go, and let the paint. It's like the sculpture. The stone will tell you how to paint or how to sculpt and what it wants to be, and sometimes it will. The painting, the background will be totally different than what I thought it would. The composition might stay the same, but yeah, that's what is the exciting part of painting. Is when it just kind of paints itself. You're just kind of, I don't know, just being I don't
It's
know, it
almost
just
like
tells you what it
writing a
is.
book when you don't know what the ending is going to be, and you're the writer.
Yeah,
You're kind of on the seat of your chair, wondering what's going to happen next.
yeah, yeah, that's true, and that's how it is with painting sometimes, and that's what's so exciting. You know.
It is. Those are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. So
Oh, thank you.
beautiful. I'm going to bring myself back up here in the screen here.
And then
Do you happen to have any of your fancy dancers there in the studio?
no, I've sold a lot of work the last couple months, and no, I don't have any fancy dancers. I just have
So when I first met Raymond, folks, he was doing this series of fancy dancers, and I just fell in love with them. And then come to find out, you did the fancy dance when you were a little kid, right?
oh yeah, I used to go to powwows. Well, I still go to powwows, but yeah, I used to dance when I was young, and so
Fun. You know what I'm going to do is I got a little treat for you. I'm going to see if I can utilize technology here and see if we can show the folks who haven't seen fancy dance here in our screen here.
Have this young push-ups.
Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. I don't know. But just for you folks who haven't seen it, this little child here this is a video clip from Oklahoma where Raymond used to go to dance. This could have been you here, Raymond. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, we got a little tight here. So just to give you an idea, for those of you who have not been to a powwow before, this is kind of what it's like. We've got a lot of our elders hanging out, drinking beer, playing drums, depending on what culture you're from. And then we have all these amazing creatives that come in. So I thought it would just be fun to show a little clip so you can see what our culture is all about. And I know, Raymond, when we had talked about you being inspired as an artist when you were younger, I thought it was kind of a funny little anecdote that you were pretty shy growing up, and you were telling me, I think last time, what is your native name, your Pawnee name?
Kudux Bahita
And what
means
does it
wise
mean?
bear.
And I
Wise
remember
bear.
you telling me that you were, in school sketching, and you noticed that the girls were coming over saying, "Oh, can you draw something for me?" I thought that was just great.
Yeah, that really inspired me to become an artist.
Hey, whatever works,
I like
right?
it.
I think it's awesome. I
Yeah, I
love
got to
it.
use whatever you can.
That's it. So what are you thinking about for the future? Let's just, let's paint a scenario where we're still in this whole COVID thing for a while. I mean, we all are hoping that it ends, but we don't know when. Do you have any ideas of things you're going to be doing in the future, like things that you're going to expand to? And, do you have any ideas about how you're going to continue to stay motivated and creative? I know you're super creative, and then get your artwork out so that people can see it.
No, I haven't really thought about it that much because I mean, I just paint. I mean, I just and the Creator always provides. Somehow, we're
Mm.
always provided for. I mean, I don't know how, but and so I just give it up to Him, and He always provides for us. And I don't have like any set focus. But I'm just trying to be the best artist I can, and just try to continue to evolve and get better. That's basically what I'm trying to do. Just be the best artist I can and touch people. I found, I just started doing these little birds, these little angry birds, like this, and it makes me feel good. And I laugh and I smile when I'm doing it, and it makes people smile. They come in the gallery and they say, "Oh, this reminds me of you," or, and so that's just to continue to bring joy to people. I
I
love
think
painting
that's
these
great.
birds and.
And that's what art's all
Yeah,
about. It's all about inspiring people, your talent. And I agree with you, especially right now, art is so needed. I think it's one of those things that it's constant. When you create something, it's going to be here forever. And people really can, count, like with my art collection, I really get a lot of joy because I remember. It's almost like I can take this little, trip down memory lane of my travels, people I've met like you, on my travels, and then I get a piece of art. So I can kind of travel virtually in my mind through my art collection, and it brings back memories, and ultimately it uplifts my spirit. And I know that is the same for pretty much everybody who collects art. And you're bringing that
Oh,
to the
very much so.
world.
I love, my wife and I love collecting art, and I remember my wife Gina said, the love that I put in my paintings still vibrate, later, even after I'm long gone, they'll still vibrate with the love that I, put into it, which is so cool about art,
Absolutely. So I have a question for you. If because you've been doing this for a long time, and even though you and I always say, we're pretty young, we're inching up to become the elders, the next elders of
Yes.
our generation. What advice would you give a young artist right now, especially a young Native artist trying to get started, trying to realize the success that you've had as an artist? What would you tell them?
First, I tell them to draw all the time, because drawing is the basis for pretty much all 2 and 3 dimensional art, and learn how to draw and look at the master's works. I mean, and whatever that may be, if you're a painter, look at the impressionist, the post-impressionist, cubist, futurist, abstract art, and soak up all that. I mean,
Right.
and look at everything that's come before you, and then you add your own self to it, and it will come out. I mean, as when you're young, you do. I mean, I would go to galleries all the time. I went to galleries like almost every day to look at the art and museums and to be inspired, and then do a lot of different techniques, and because I really like doing printmaking, but then I like drawing in watercolor, and I used to do acrylics and oils, and so that really helps you. But I think, and I mean, I can't tell like young artists what to do as far as business anymore because it's changed so much.
Right.
They know more about the this virtual stuff than I do. But that's what I would say is just do your art, and just continue to do it. But look at the master's works, look at the people that have come before you, and see. Don't copy it, but get what you can. And sometimes you get like what not to do, too.
Sure.
So that's what I tell people. That's what I tell young artists when they come in here.
I think that's really good advice. They just keep practicing. And I agree. I mean, look at those who have come before you. So I know that you and we're getting a little bit more savvy on this techie world that we live in now, but where can people find your artwork?
Oh, we have a website called nordwallart.com.
Okay, I put that up on the ticker. So folks, go there, check out Raymond's new collection. We had every intention here in San Diego to have a show for him, but
I know.
everything got all topsy-turvy on us,
I
but we're going
know.
to still do that. I mean, that's definitely something that I would love. I mean, I fell in love with your work when I was out there. So I'd love to have you once this all passes. But check out the website. Raymond, you are such a tremendous force of energy there in Santa Fe. Everybody that I've spoke to knows who you are, knows of your artwork. And I know that, you've had some tragedy in your life. We're not going to touch on that. But one of the things that I always really took away from your studio is that you are a person that has such inspiration in your work, from your birds to your landscapes and your fancy dance. Everything has, I don't know how to explain it, but it just has a real spirit of optimism and energy.
Oh,
You
thank
bring that to the canvas. And I know that's why people just keep coming back and collecting. So
Well, it's gotten me
keep
through the
doing that.
best and the worst times of my life. It's everything to me. It's my therapy. It's everything to me. So I'm
Well,
very
keep
blessed like
doing
this.
that because you bring a lot of joy to people. So we all appreciate it, and we especially need it right now in this time. And
Yes.
so thank you so much. And folks, if
Thank
you're
you.
watching and you go onto his website and fall in love with the painting, I will tell you, you will not regret collecting this man's work. Is really just inspirational would be the word. So thank you so much. And
Thank
thank
you,
you for being
Ruth-Ann.
on the show. Really enjoy talking to you every
Yeah,
time.
enjoy talking to you too. Okay.
All right. Be well, my friend. And we'll be
You
in touch
too.
soon. And,
Sounds good.
hope this storm passes and we're off to, back to the shows and exhibitions. So
Yep, sounds good. Thank you for doing this for all the artists.
it's
Really
my
appreciate it.
pleasure. Thank you so much, Raymond. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Every time I get to interview an artist, I walk away on the top of the moon because I know what these artists have really endured to get to the level where they're creating like this. And Raymond, if you ever get a chance to go to Santa Fe, you go down Canyon Road and you go into his studio, you are going to meet one of the most, I think, kindest men that I've met. He's just a real sweetheart, and his work, I mean, it'll just floor you really. So if you ever get a chance, put that on your list of artists that you're going to meet. We have really great artists coming up. So starting Wednesday, right here again, 4 p.m. Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're going to have these great creatives. So coming up this week, we have Jeremy Salazar, who's a young artist that I met at Indian Market last year. He has really taken the art world by storm. He's in his 20s, family man, and he's been traveling with he and his wife and their child all over the country doing powwows, setting up in tents, and he's kind of finally getting his big breaks after really working hard to make an awareness about his art. And then we have George Rivera. Many of you know George. He too is a staple in Santa Fe. He was the governor of one of the Pueblo tribes out there, and he has really not only affected the art world with his beautiful monument sculptures, but he's also been involved in Native American politics. So he's done a lot on behalf of Indian country to push through initiatives so that Native culture can be really protected and also native land. So you don't want to miss both of those artists. But until then, make sure you subscribe, Art of the City. If you're going to go on to Facebook, it's Art of the City TV. On YouTube, Art of the City TV. Please subscribe, folks. Share the word. This month is especially important for us as Native people because we want to really share our culture and the beauty that we bring being the first people on this continent. So we'll look forward to having more creatives, and I'll look forward to seeing you Wednesday right here, Art of the City. Have a great day and be blessed, folks.